It starts with a walk home from church quiet, peaceful, so ordinary you could almost believe the world is safe, until it isn't. Until a white cop in a squad car decides that a black woman on her own sidewalk is an emergency that needs handling, except he's got no idea he's about to pick the wrong person. And in less than 5 seconds, the silence that usually keeps everything hidden flips into a spotlight, his badge turning heavy in his chest. And the whole city ends up holding its breath, waiting to see if anything's ever really going to change. Yeah, that happened. And let me tell you, from the first moment, it felt like standing at the edge of a cliff one step, and everything can break loose. So it's a Sunday afternoon in late April, church bells just finishing up, sunlight drifting through magnolia trees, and Naomi Ellison, who's 62 and moves with that kind of grace you only get from years of having to stay steady, is walking home leather Bible in one hand, a bunch of white lilies in the other, dressed neat, brooch shining, hair twisted back. Not a thing out of place. She's not hurrying, not distracted, just present, you know? Walking 2 blocks to her little white cottage, like she does every year on her anniversary, even when her husband, Jeremiah, a federal judge, is out late or traveling for work. She keeps the ritual, cooking for 2, lighting a candle, holding on to something real. The street is calm, kids running, old friends calling goodbye, birds up in the branches singing, except right as she passes the iron gate, she feels that thing, that heat on the back of her neck, the kind of attention you can't see but you know it's there. It's the squad car parked across the street, engine off, but the driver's window open, and inside is a cop white guy, late 30s, buzz cut. Watching her in that way, some men watch the world, like they're waiting for it to step out of line, just so they can remind it who's in charge. Naomi's been here before, not just with police, but with people at the grocery store, in a hospital waiting room. She knows how the air gets tight, how your mind goes through the checklist. ID in your purse, phone charged, keys ready. She doesn't panic, never has. Just keeps walking. Not today, she murmurs like a prayer and a challenge at the same time. But the cruiser door swings open, the sound loud as a judge's gavel. And he comes striding over, boots thudding, all that authority in his step. But he's careful, not rushing, wants everyone to see he's in charge, but not afraid. Ma'am, he calls, sharp, almost formal. Naomi turns, not smiling, not apologizing, just meeting his gaze. Yes, officer. Her voice is calm, steady. He asks where she's going. Home, she says, just 2 blocks up. He presses, did she come from church? I did. Is something wrong? His eyes narrow, and she sees if this isn't about her flowers or her Bible. It's about something much older. He gets closer, asks for ID. Naomi asks, have I broken any laws? And he throws out a line about a report, someone matching her description, casing houses. She doesn't flinch, just says, I've come from church, I live right here. But he isn't letting go. He pushes, wants to see her papers, right there on her own street. She gives her name, Naomi Ellison, and sees something flicker in his face, like he almost recognizes it. But he decides to push anyway. Show me your ID. She says, I know my rights, officer. Unless you have reasonable suspicion, you have no grounds to detain me. And that's when it breaks. She lunges, grabs her arm so hard the lilies drop, shoves her back into the brick wall of a closed bookstore, forearm pressed against her throat, not enough to choke, just enough to control, to say, you're not safe, not here, not today. The world slows. Her hands go to his arm, not to fight, just to stay upright. She's not crying, not pleading, just standing. You don't get to do this, she says, voice thin but clear. You're resisting, he snaps. I'm standing, she whispers. And then from across the street, someone shouts, get your hands off her. Phones come out. The crowd thickens. And now he's not just pressing on Naomi, he's got the eyes of the city on him. But he won't stop. Naomi's breath is coming short now. Knees shaking, the lilies crushed underfoot, the Bible fallen open to a psalm about enemies and justice. And deep inside her, something old and bright starts burning. She knows he's not the only one watching, and she's not the only one who's had enough. That's when a black SUV screeches to a stop at the curb, door flies open, and Jeremiah Ellison steps out, tall, unhurried, his presence a force you feel more than see. He says nothing for a second, Just looks at the cop foes now, got the look of a man who suddenly realizes the storm he's about to walk into. Jeremiah says, "Step away from my wife. Quiet, steady, no need to yell, just absolute authority." The cop's hands drop, the crowd edges in, and now you can feel the shift truth flooding into the open. The cop, name tag reading Doyle, tries to recover, mumbling something about procedure, about refusing to comply. Jeremiah won't have it. "You didn't ask questions, you made assumptions, you escalated. And for what? A necklace? A skin tone? A woman who didn't bow her head." The crowd murmurs. The phones are up, and you can almost taste the justice that's about to roll down. That's when a new character steps in the scene, a black woman in uniform. Police sergeant, eyes sharp, voice steady. "Everything all right here?" Jeremiah lays out what happened, and now it's Doyle on the defensive. "She refused to comply," he says, "but no one's buying it." Naomi finally speaks. "He didn't see me at all, just the version of me he wanted to believe." The sergeant says they'll be handling it, tells Jeremiah to file a complaint. Naomi answers, "This doesn't end with paperwork." Jeremiah looks Doyle in the eye. "You've assaulted the wrong woman, and you're about to find out what that means." Doyle gets pulled aside, powerless now, the crowd watching every move. Naomi straightens her dress, picks up what's left of her dignity, and walks home with Jeremiah past the crushed lilies and the spot on the wall where her back left a mark. That night, they sit on their porch in the heavy silence, bruises already blooming, but the real ache is older, the way power waits for a name to attach humanity to it. Jeremiah is quiet, anger simmering, not for revenge, but because he's tired of waiting for the right moment to speak up. Naomi starts writing names, plans, not waiting for permission to start something bigger. By dawn, word is spread. Reporters gather. Neighbors show up. Naomi walks into the courthouse upright, Jeremiah at her side, dignity her only armor. In court, Doyle sits in a suit that doesn't fit, stripped of authority, and the video speaks louder than any testimony. Witnesses say what everyone's always known: "We stopped looking." Naomi stands, voice calm as stone. "I wasn't attacked because of what I did, but because of what he saw." The verdict comes: guilty on assault, misconduct, civil rights violations. No cheers, just the hard relief of accountability. Naomi steps out, her message simple. This isn't just about might, it's about what happens when nobody's watching, when nobody's there to say stop. The city starts to change, new oversight, new policies, not perfect, but real. Naomi, now chairing the board, asks the question that matters. What do you want your city to feel like when your child walks down the street? Someone answers, "Safe." Naomi nods, "Then let's make it law." She walks past the wall where it started. Someone's left lilies and a blue ribbon, and this time she smiles, touches the stone, and keeps moving forward. Because what happened to Naomi Ellison isn't just a headline, it's a reckoning. A call for all of us to stop mistaking silence for peace and power for justice. Her story's a mirror. Dignity isn't a privilege, it's a right, and sometimes quiet strength changes the world more than any shout. So if you felt something, if you remember, if you're angry, if you still hope, leave a comment, share what justice means to you, and let's be the reason the next story ends better than the last.